Hey, everybody. Welcome to our eBay seller webinar on summer marketing tactics. I'm Alex Lobos, a pro seller account manager here at eBay, and I'm excited to share practical ways you can drive more sales this summer. Over the next few minutes, I'll set the stage and then we'll dive into specific tools you can turn on in Seller Hub right after this session. Before we dive in, let me quickly introduce today's speakers so you know who you're hearing from. My name is Alex Lobos. I'm a pro seller account manager working directly with sellers across North America to help them grow on eBay. I spend my days looking at real accounts, real listings, and real results. So I'll be bringing that perspective into the marketing tactics we cover today. Joining me is Evan Swanson, a senior product manager on our B2C team. Evan is responsible for the seller initiated offers experience, the tools that help you send targeted offers to interested buyers and close more sales. Evan will walk you through what's new with SIO and how to get the most out of it. We're also joined by Chuck Van Pelt from Recycled Gadgets. Chuck is an active eBay seller who uses these tools every day in his business. Later in the session, he'll share how he approaches promotions, offers, and marketing from sellers' perspective, what's actually working for him in the real world. Here's where we're heading for today's session. First, we'll start with a quick update on seller-initiated offers, or SIO. Evan will cover how the experience is evolving, what's changed recently, and what that means for your day-to-day selling. Second, we'll look at summer marketing tools inside eBay. Things like sales events, coupons, volume pricing, and other levers you can pull to clear old inventory, drive larger orders, and encourage repeat purchases. I'll walk you through how to think about these tools strategically for summer and show you where they live in Seller Hub. Third, you'll hear a seller point of view from Chuck. He'll share how he actually uses these tools in his business, how he plans promotions, how he thinks about margins versus discounting, and how he measures what's working and what's not. And finally, we'll wrap up with the Q&A. So as we go, feel free to jot down questions. We'll leave time at the end to address as many as we can. Okay, before we get started, I want to quickly review a few platform features so everything is easy to follow. Please direct your attention to the right side of the platform where you can see the chat area. Chat is where you can comment or react during the presentation today. So feel free to use it along the way. For questions, we will collect that. Sorry. For questions, we will collect that what is beginning asked. We will collect what is being asked and review them for live Q&A at the end of the presentation. We probably won't be able to answer every question, but we'll do our best to cover the topics that come up the most often. If you would like to turn on captions for this event, you can do so by clicking the CC button on the bottom right corner of the video player. Okay, let's dive over to you, Evan.
Thanks, Alex. Hey, everyone. I'm Evan, Senior Product Manager here at eBay. Today, I'm going to be walking you through seller-initiated offers, or what internally we call SIO, and give you some recent updates. Let's start with core idea. When a buyer watches your item, they can add it to their cart or send you a message. They're telling you something. They're interested. The question is, are you responding fast enough to capture the moment? The data is clear. The faster you get the right offer in the front of the right buyer, the higher your chances of closing that deal. We've been focusing on making that easier for you so you can reach interested buyers the moment they signal intent. Some recent updates that we've shipped over the last months that I wanted to share with you are, first, seller offers are integrated today in member-to-member messaging. If you use offers a lot, you'll have seen this in your message threads. Now you can see the full offer negotiation right inside your message thread. No need to jump between different parts of Seller Hubs. You can negotiate now in real time, keeping the conversation moving in one place. Second, second chance offers. These are for the almost sales. If your offer was sent to a buyer and it expired, maybe they didn't see it, maybe they're on vacation, but now they can reach out to you via messaging and ask for that offer again. You can now send them another offer and make that sale. That wasn't available before. Small improvement, but really is helpful for those buyers that missed out. And third, Now you can stay open. Now counter offers specifically will stay open for 96 hours. That means buyers have more time to accept those offers. That means fewer deals falling through the cracks. Our data shows that that is driving more sales with the extended timeline. And now this one is one of my favorites. Here's a stat really worth focusing in on. Offers sent to buyers after they message you are 10 times more likely to convert. Think about that, 10 times. When somebody reaches out to you with a question, they're already engaged, they're interested. Now, instead of just answer their question and hoping they'll come back, you can answer their question and send them an offer. You can close that deal all in one thread. Overall, you can close deal faster, negotiating in real time without switching tools, and you'll continue to see improvements in messaging and offers going forward. Don't wait for your buyers to come to you. eBay is surfacing tools in active listings, in mobile, in messaging that let you reach out to the buyers in the right moment when they've already shown interest in your items. That's the key insight. You're not blasting offers out to everybody out there. You're reaching the people who we've already vetted, and we made sure that they've already raised their hand and said, I'm interested. That's smarter targeting. And it means that your conversions are going to go up, and you don't have to worry so much about over messaging your buyer. We're going to be continuing to improve our algorithms to make you more confident in sending out strong offers to your buyers. After sending offers, managing them is easy. Your entire pipeline is visible and actionable in one place. And that place is located in Seller Hub under marketing, our offer management experience. This is your control center for offers. You can manage your automation centers or your automation settings so that you can see your offers go out even when you might not be there to review the offers and send them. You can set that up, and you can also see how your offers are performing over time. You can see your performance so that you can improve it in the future. For example, here you can see in this seller has over $2,000 in gross sales, over 350 offers sent, and 122 accepted. That's information you can use to improve your offer discounts, and you can see that real revenue coming in. This dashboard lets you see what's working and improve your performance over time. So I want to leave you with 4 practical things to do, especially headed into this summer. 1, respond to buyer interest quickly or automate it. Speed matters. If you can't watch your listings all day, turn on automations. It's easy to do, just a tick when you send that offer so that eBay can respond to you on future interest. 2, send offers when buyers message you. You saw the stat earlier. Buyers are 10 times more likely to accept an offer if they message you first. It's a real interest signal, so make this a habit. And 3, focus on quality over focus on quality over quantity. A well-targeted offer to an engaged buyer beats a batch of low-quality offers to a cold audience every time. Make sure you put your best foot forward and send good quality offers. And 4, this is probably most important for you to think about going into the holiday season. Pause your offers automation 1 to 2 weeks before you go on vacation. Don't leave your buyers hanging for an offer that you can't fulfill. Plan ahead so that your reputation stays strong when you come back. Hopefully that was helpful. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Next, you're going to be hearing from my good friend Chuck, who's going to be sharing how he uses seller-initiated offers. Before that, Chuck, can you share a little bit about your business and yourself?
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Yeah, I'm really excited about all these seller changes. The SIO stuff is amazing, and I'm so glad to get to talk to you today about it. My name is Chuck Van Pelt. I run Recycled Gadgets. It's my company, I guess, is based in Portland, Oregon. And I've sold on the eBay platform since '98. I've been doing it a long time, kind of as a side hustle. True story about me. I worked for eBay for 10 years, most recently as a seller advocate. I got to listen to sellers like all of you and collect that information and get it back to people like Evan who could make changes at eBay. But last year, I left eBay as an employee and decided to grow my own eBay business full time. along with my son, who works with me every day. And it's almost easier to tell you what I don't sell than what I do. I don't sell clothes. That's probably the most major category that I'm not involved in. But my top 3 categories currently are cameras, music media, a lot of CDs right now, and wristwatches. So my catalog is very shallow and very broad. And I also do a lot of home improvement and repair parts for home and business, these kinds of things. I currently have about 7,000 active listings, and I do about, I don't mind sharing this, I do about 700 or 800 per day on average in sales on the eBay platform, but I'm pushing every day to make that better. And one of the tools I use for that is seller initiated offers. And I send offers every day on commodity inventory to drive sales velocity. So I use the tool in a lot of ways, but for commoditized items like CDs, which I have thousands of listed, I send a simple 5% offer every day. In the morning, I see who's eligible, and I send 5%. And really, that is just, I mean, that's not a huge discount, but it's something that I think eligible buyers will, the item's fresh in their mind, right? So you're just sort of giving them a little tickler to remind them that it's out there. And that does generally drive a few sales every day just by doing that, that little bit of reminder. Now, I also sort my most valuable and my oldest inventory every day, looking for opportunities where there's buyer interest in those items, seeing where I can reduce prices, offer a little bit of a discount, depending on how long the item's been out there, to try to drive sales. Now, regarding the amount that I offer for a seller offer, the 5% that I talked about already is just, it's kind of a tickler to remind people that I'm there. I consider a 15 to 20% offer a serious offer. That's an offer where you're like, look, I really want to make this sale. I'm committed to do it. And it's an amount that I feel like buyers will take a minute to consider. When I go above 30%, 30 to 50%, I consider that liquidation. And that's really where, that's more about freeing up space in my inventory than it is about making money. It's just kind of moving things along. And I generally am not losing money at that amount, but I'm not making a lot either. Personally, I find that more than 50% offer is buyers start to think something's wrong. Like, why are you offering that amount? So I typically don't go that high. At that point, I'm starting to just move things that aren't selling out of my inventory, donating them or whatever. Another SIO technique, seller initiated offer. If you don't know the value of an item and you don't want to do an auction, sometimes I'll start my price very high. This is for collectibles, one-of-a-kind items, things like that. I'll start it really high, and I use the SIO flow to kind of start a haggle with interested buyers. I love haggling. I love going to the flea market or estate sales and a little back and forth. It's part of the business that I really enjoy. So this SIO really lets me kind of digitize that haggle flow. So if anyone shows interest, I'll engage them in messages. And Evan mentioned how the offers are integrated now with messages, which has been so helpful for this process. So I'll have a real haggle, almost as if I'm in person with the buyer. Another thing I do is I'll use the your cost field. Sometimes it's called cost of goods. There's a field now in eBay that you can put data in that's basically only available to you, which is how much you spent on the item. And when I was smaller and I had less inventory, I could kind of remember what I spent on things. But as I grow the business, I'm having a hard time remembering what my costs were. So as I'm considering offers and sending offers, it helps me to have that your cost field available. So I remember what kind of I can preserve my margins and not accidentally make an offer where I'm underwater in it. So a good thing to keep in mind is this is what I try to remind myself all the time. When I was younger, I came at this like, I don't want to leave a penny on the table. I know what this is worth. I know what I've got, this kind of idea. When my margins are really thick on an item, like I've paid $1 for it or whatever, I've learned that short-term cash flow really beats getting the maximum value, but then having to wait months to get it, you know, these long tail items. So I have had success now remembering what I'm into the item for and then being realistic. If I've seen it sell for 100 and I've paid $1 for it and I get an offer for 60, 70, I'll take that. I'll take it all day long just to get things moving along in most cases. All right. I'm going to hand it back over to Alex, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the summer marketing tools section.
Awesome. Hey, thank you, Chuck, and awesome perspective. Cool. Now let's shift into summer marketing tools section. This is where we move from what's possible to the actual levers you can pull inside Seller Hub to grow your business this summer. Some of these tools are available to all sellers at no extra cost, and some, like buyer groups and newsletters, do require an eBay store subscription to unlock the full experience. We're going to look at how to use each of these in smart, strategic ways, not just turn everything on and hope for the best. As we go through this, I'd invite you to think about your store and mentally tag which tools feel like a good fit for your categories and inventory mix. These two questions, how do I grow my account and what's the secret to long-term growth, are ones I hear from sellers all the time. The honest answer is that growth doesn't come from one magic setting. It comes from stacking a set of repeatable habits over time. Listing consistently, pricing smartly, and then using marketing tools to squeeze more value out of every buyer who shows interest. What we're going to walk through now are the marketing habits that support that long-term growth. Clearing what's not moving, making each order a bit larger, and giving buyers a reason to come back. This slide lays out the key tools we will focus on: sale events, coupons, volume pricing, buyer groups, and the store newsletter. Most of these live under Seller Hub marketing. And if you have an eBay store subscription, you unlock the full set, especially things like buyer groups and newsletters. Volume pricing is more broadly available. The important thing here is to see these tools as a coordinated toolkit, not a set of one-off tricks. When you layer them together thoughtfully, you can support the entire buyer journey from first click to repeat purchase. So why bother with all of this instead of just adjusting price and hoping for the best? First, these tools help your listing stand out visually through things like strike-through pricing, promotional labels, and special treatment in buyer experiences. That extra visibility can be the difference between scroll past and click through. Second, they let you speak directly to what buyers care about: getting a good deal, feeling like they found something special, and being rewarded for coming back. That's how you move from one item transaction to ongoing relationships. On this slide, we organize everything around 4 goals: clear old inventory, drive large orders, increase repeat purchases, and reach more buyers. This is a really useful way to think about marketing on eBay. Instead of asking, should I run a promotion? You start with, what problem am I trying to solve right now? Once you know the goal, it's much easier to pick the right tool and measure whether it's working. What's the mindset I'd encourage you to use as we walk through the rest of this section? All right, our first goal: clearing old or seasonal inventory before it ties up too much cash and space. Every seller has items that just sit. Maybe they're off season, maybe demand changed, or maybe they were simply a miss. If you don't handle them deliberately, they quietly drag down your overall performance. Sale events are the main tool we look at for this goal. They give you a structured, time-bound way to push that inventory out and turn it back into working capital. So this slide here highlights why sale events are such a strong fit for clearing aging inventory. When you put items into a sale event, they become more noticeable. Buyers see clear discount messaging and often a sense that this deal won't be here forever. The limited time aspect helps turn browsers into buyers. Because you choose which items are included and how deep the discount goes, you can target exactly the inventory that needs to move without discounting your entire catalog. Okay, here you go. Here you get a sense of what's setting up a sale looks like in Seller Hub. You select the discount type, often a percentage off each item. Set the value and then choose start and end dates. After that, you decide which items participate, either by manually selecting them or by using rule-based filters like category, price, or other criteria. But quick pro tip here for my favorite filter is days on site. A best practice many sellers use is run shorter, focused sales, maybe 1 to 2 weeks on a curated set of items, rather than a single long sale that buyers stop noticing. Chuck, do you mind sharing how you use sale events?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Alex. As my inventory has grown, as it has a lot since I started doing this full time, it's become even more important for me to use tools like sale events to move my slower inventory. And so we're on the same page. When I talk about a sale event, it's a discount you can apply to some subset of your inventory for a set amount of time. And, my philosophy with running sales and why I do it is basically, it's very simple. I prefer to run a store and not a storage facility. And sometimes I hear other sellers talk about almost like how proud they are of having items in their store that were there for 5 years or whatever. And, I don't want to criticize people for how they run their businesses. Everyone, that's a really long tail item if it's in your store for 5 years. But I have limited space here. I'm running the business out of my house, and I have a 3-car garage, and that's pretty much the space I have. So I do try to kind of keep things moving using sales. So on the active listing screen in Seller Hub, I use all the filters there and the different sorts to decide how to apply a sale event. I use eBay category, store category, item cost, the age of the item, like when I listed it, how many watchers it has, and the number of views it has. And then I'll look at my custom SKU to see, like, maybe if I wanted to clear out one particular section of my inventory, I have custom SKUs where I store that location. And so I can maybe sort to one bin and say, okay, today this bin's going to get cleared out. The filtering in Seller Hub is actually really powerful, but combination of the filters and then the actual sorting, and that'll help you dial in your sales really quickly. So that's what I do. Now, I have a friend who uses store categories in a really interesting way to manage his sale events, and he forces inventory through a flow that either results in a sale or ultimately his inventory ages out of the system. And he, unlike me, is into the clothing category exclusively. This technique works really well there. But the idea is if you apply a sale to a specific store category, and store categories you can create, you can apply up to 2 store categories on every listing. Any items that you then move into that category, the sale will all automatically be applied at that discount. And that's the basis of this model. So he creates several tiers of discount using store categories. He's got a 10% off, a 20% off, a 30, so on. And he moves inventory through the tiers, kind of deepening the discounts until they either sell. And I think he uses like a 6-month model. He's trying to, or it might be a year model, because the clothing being seasonal, he wants to make sure everything has a chance to get through. But at the end of the day, when things have run all the way through these tiers, he will move them out of the inventory, either bulk them up or donate them or get them out. And that's how he keeps things fresh and doesn't fill up his space. So if you want to check it out, he told me I could share his store name. It's called Hudson Resale. It's on eBay. And if you go into his store, you'll see how all these sale levels are set up. It's pretty cool. Alex, back to you.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, thanks, Chuck, again. And I got to say, Chuck, I really did like that comment of not a storage facility. That, again, working with sellers over the years, I've had some sellers where I pull up their account and we have 3-year-old, 5-year-old items. But yeah, I think one time, I think the worst case scenario, I think one was about 8 years old, was his oldest item. So like I said, yeah, he was definitely running a storage facility at that point.
Actually, I think at that point, your item actually becomes vintage while it's in your inventory.
There you go, right? Price has gone up, so maybe you need to reprice it, I guess. No, probably not, honestly, if it's been sitting there. So, all right. So our second goal is driving larger orders, getting buyers to add more units or more items into a single transaction. When you increase average order value, you're not only bringing in more revenue per buyer, you're also often improving your margins, because picking and packing one large order can be more efficient than fulfilling multiple small ones. The two main tools we'll discuss here are volume pricing and order discounts. All right, so with volume pricing rewards buyers for purchasing multiple units from the same listing. Classic buy more, save more. This is especially effective for items where buying multiples is natural. Things like consumables, small parts, or items buyers might purchase for friends or family at the same time. From your side, it encourages buyers to move up a tier, maybe from 1 to 2 units or from 2 to 4. So you're shipping fewer packages while increasing overall revenue. Order discounts extend that idea across the cart, not just within a single listing. You can create promotions like extra $10 off when you spend $50, extra 20% off when you buy 3 or more items. The templates shown here make it easy to configure those offers. This is a great way to encourage buyers to explore more of your catalog, add complementary items, and build a bigger basket before they check out. Here you go, Chuck.
Yeah, I use eBay's volume pricing tools myself. In fact, I use them in kind of 2 different ways. There's the individual item level volume pricing that applies when you have quantities of the same item in the store. And this is on a per item basis. You'll see it in the listing flow. And I offer at least a small discount when a buyer purchases 2 or more of an item. I don't do a lot of multi-quantity because it's not the way I source. I don't always get a lot, but when I do, I want to give a little incentive to add more items to the cart. Because of combined shipping, of course, I get so much more profitability when I can have them add even 2 items instead of 1. And I more than make up for the discount I offer with the combined shipping. Now, the other volume pricing that you may not think about is this, what I call store level volume pricing. And I'm probably using this name wrong, and Evan's probably cringing right now at me, but store level volume pricing uses the order discount type of discount offer to give a % off when a buyer purchases a quantity of items from within whatever subset of your store that you decide. And I'll give you an example of this. Currently, I offer 30% off if you purchase 3 or more CDs from my CD category in my store. So basically, it's kind of like a buy 2, get 1 free sale. And it encourages adding just 1 more item to the cart. This pushes my average cart size way up, actually makes me more money. And because on CDs, I'm able to use media mail to ship my CDs. So my incremental shipping cost is basically 0. And buyers are also encouraged to just keep adding more CDs once they get that discount, because they're saving so much. It's kind of like, okay, well, now I don't have to, now I know I'm 30% off every additional CD I add. So that technique works really well for me. And using this sort of 2-sided model with the volume pricing on the listings and then across the listings is great, because you're taking advantage of more places in the eBay platform or user interface where these discounts are shown to buyers. So I feel like it's just sort of raising my profile, making my store more visible, and making all these discounts more available. Alex?
Yeah. Well, and I'll even add just kind of a quick, not so much a pro tip here, but a best way to kind of think about it in between order discounts and volume pricing. So like somebody who sells Pokemon cards, okay? If you sell packs of cards, volume pricing makes sense, right? Because somebody is buying a pack of cards and you encourage them to add a second one with a slight discount. But and on the other side of that with Pokemon cards, if you're selling individual cards, then you would want to use order discounts, because basically you want people to pick and choose different cards to add to their cart and check out and take advantage of the discount. So
exactly, you said it exactly perfectly. Yep, that's how I do it.
appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Our third goal is increasing repeat purchases, turning a one-time buyer into someone who comes back again and again. Acquiring new buyers always takes effort. Once you've earned that first sale, you want to give buyers reason to remember you and to choose your store next time they're shopping in your category. For that, we'll look at coupons and the store newsletter as your primary tools. All right. Coupons give you a flexible way to reward and re-engage buyers. You can set up different templates: percent off, dollars off, minimum spend, quantity-based deals, and you control things like maximum savings, how many times a buyer can redeem, and which items are eligible. You can also choose between private coupons that you share directly and public coupons that are discoverable on eBay. Both have a role depending on whether you're targeting specific buyers or a broader audience.
Yeah, I find coupons are a great way to bring buyers bring back buyers who've already made a purchase. And as I mentioned earlier, all of these different discount types, I like to use a little bit from column A, from column B, column C, because where I've discovered that where these discounts appear to buyers is different all through the site, and I like to cover all my bases there. Now, eBay's marketing tools allow me to push coupons to recent buyers and reward them for loyalty and continued purchases, which I really like to do. But also, I can use coupons to attract buyers who have followed my store or are frequent browsers of my listings using the marketing tools that eBay provides. I'm not sure if everyone's aware of that. eBay's done a really good job of identifying the people who have shown some kind of interest in your items and then giving you access to them through these tools. And I find when I make this a regular habit, I see success closing the sale while my item is still fresh in the shopper's mind, or while my store is still fresh in their mind. And, I strive to provide excellent customer service, but there is one situation where, sometimes things go sideways, right? It happens to all of us. And another way that I use coupons is a way to sort of save a disappointed buyer. It could be like a stock out situation, which, we shouldn't be doing, but we all know that it happens. A broken item, either broken in the mail or broken in my inventory, some kind of mix up, you've done the old ship A to B and B to A situation, late shipment, that kind of thing. What I do is I keep a set of coupons of various discount levels on hand to provide to my buyers as a sort of make good on mistakes. And then also to kind of surprise and delight my best customers. What I'll do is keep them on the side in a spreadsheet. What you don't want to do is give say you want to give somebody a 30% off as an attaboy, you don't want that coupon to then get out there and be available to everybody. So I make them a one-time coupon for that buyer. But you can also do like a 10% across the board. I keep that around. Just, sometimes I'll throw that one to people to make good for some, maybe they're not happy with the quality of an item they got, this kind of thing. But these coupons, they're so good at, a lot of times it'll turn an unsatisfied customer into a satisfied customer, and it won't cost me money a lot of times when I do it, other than the discount. And they may not even use the discount, but I try not to go right for the refund, right for the partial. I try to use coupons as a way to kind of smooth things over, and it works pretty well. Alex?
Yeah, no, Chuck, I like that comment you made about the fact that sometimes they don't use them, but they still feel better about that transaction and that situation, just the fact that you were willing to send it to them. And you, as a seller, I guess cost-wise, I guess it's kind of a little bit of an advantage if they end up not using it in some ways, right? It actually would be kind of nice if they came and bought something too. But
yeah, I mean, even at 10%, I'm still making money, but I think it shows that you're operating in good faith, and they like that.
Yeah, no, great point, honestly. Cool. Now let's jump into store newsletters. So the store newsletter is your tool for staying in touch with your audience over time. It lets you tell your brand story, highlight new inventory, and promote discounts directly to followers and interested buyers. Basically, instead of hoping people discover your updates, you're bringing curated updates to them. This is how you add a more human layer on top of your listings. Buyers get a sense of who you are, what you carry, and why they should keep checking back. On this slide, you see templates for different campaign types: welcome messages, new products and collections, coupons, sale events, order discounts, and volume pricing campaigns. Templates means you don't have to start from scratch. You choose a campaign type that fits your goal, fill your items and messaging, schedule it to the right audience. I'll actually add a pro tip here, because often I'll say this happens all the time. When I introduce store newsletters or newsletters to a seller, they mention how they can only send to followers, which is true for welcome messages and new product campaigns. But a lot of sellers actually don't realize that if you're doing a coupon, a sale event, an order discount, or volume pricing, you actually have the option to also send it to all the buyers you've had in the last 12 months. So really, really expands your audience. So like I said, I bring it up because it's a comment that I get all the time when I introduce it to sellers. So I know that people are going in and checking this feature out, and they see that, and then because they're like, oh, it's just followers, and they don't feel like they have enough followers, they don't ever choose to use them. But if you're actually doing, like, again, one of the sale type of products, and you do a newsletter with it, you have a bigger audience available to you. So take advantage of that. And here's what a simple pattern might look like for you, right? And overall transaction and working with buyers. Introduce new summer arrivals through a newsletter, then highlight a limited time sale event, and later follow up with a loyalty focused coupon campaign to your best buyers. Awesome. So that wraps up the content for today. And now we'll turn to the questions that have come in through the Q&A tab.
Hey there. Well, let's look through some of the questions coming in here. One question was from John. Are all these offer updates new or related to specific? All the new updates, are they for specific categories or across categories? They actually apply across all categories. So there shouldn't be no limitations for seller offers unless you're in very specific categories like business and industrial, or potentially if you're actually selling cars. But in general, these changes apply across all categories. Another one is there's a question about can we get offer history to show up in the mobile app? Matt asked if they can see offer history. That's something that you can see in the web experience. Today, if you've been messaging with a buyer, you can see the threaded history there in the app. But yeah, I'll have to get back to you on whether or not that's available for all buyers. That might be something we can look at for the future. With that, maybe I can hand back to Chuck or Alex.
Yeah, I'll take the next one. I have a question here from Kimberly, who asks me, do you have employees, virtual assistants, or use software to help you do all this? That's a great question. So I don't have an employee. I have a partner who's my son. He does the shipping and inventory management component of the business. I have a lot of specialized knowledge that makes us successful at this. I think that so that it makes more sense for me to do the inbound processing and the listing, and then he does that. Virtual assistants, I haven't tried that yet. I've heard a lot of people have had success making their listings with virtual assistants. I do use software to build my listings in bulk, and I use it specifically for CDs right now and cameras. And it's a AI-based technology. The one I use is List Easier. I'm experimenting with a lot of different ones to see which one's going to be best, but basically it lets me list hundreds of CDs per day with a very satisfactory level of quality, just based on me giving it pictures. And It's made the whole CD part of my business feasible and much more profitable to do that. Good question. How about to Alex?
Yeah, I've got one. I actually have one from Hannah. So the question is there a way to promote all items once they are a certain age, like 30 days old, or a way for me to click a button for all items over 30 days to become promoted? So it does say promoted here. I know we didn't talk about promoted, so I'm guessing this is discounted. I'm going to assume that for the question, Hannah. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully that does address your question. So I did mention the filters early on, or while I was discussing the sale events, and there is an option for days on site or a filter for that. So yeah, I feel like there's a pretty easy way to do that. And there is ways to set up campaigns that are automated. So again, based on that filter, days on site for items to automatically fall into those sale events also. Hope that helps you.
I'll take one. Dean asked, where exactly do I go to pause automated offers 1 to 2 weeks before I'm going on vacation? They can't find it. So to get there, this is on web. You go to Seller Hub, Marketing Offers, and then filter by automated. That'll show you a list of all the items where you currently have automations running. You can tap a button to select them all and then turn off that automation. On the native app, on the iOS or Android app, if you scroll all the way to the bottom on the seller landing page, on the main sell page, on the bottom there'll be a offers button, and then you can do a similar action there to tick all the items that you want to turn automation off on and turn off that automation.
Evan, can I ask a quick follow-up to that?
Sure.
If a seller is going on vacation and they use time away on their store, is it important that they also do the automation pausing that you just described?
Well, they'll have their shipping automatically updated based upon those settings. That said, we have heard from a lot of sellers that they don't want to get any of those offers kind of orphaned out there. So, it makes things a little bit easier. If you don't turn it off, it should be okay because the shipping times automatically get updated. But yeah, we do hear that some sellers are surprised. So giving guidance to turn off those automations if you don't want them going out.
Cool. Thanks. And I have a question here from Catherine. And she says, how do you use eBay thank you cards? And maybe she means, do you use eBay thank you cards? I thought this was an interesting question because I don't put thank you cards in my packages. I'm assuming that's what you mean. But I do put decals on every box that say, thank you for supporting my small business. And I started doing that a couple of years ago. And I think that the problem I'm trying to solve with that is that I feel like a lot of buyers may not understand that they're buying from an individual or a small business and not from a large corporation. And I think that is an important differentiator for us to make as sellers when we are small businesses. I'd like to be given the benefit of the doubt. And I like when people realize, oh, I'm dealing with a human, more personalized family business. So I put that message right on my box, and I noticed a very clear change in the amount of just the tone of when people reach out to me, the amount of returns I get, the amount of complaints I get about item quality. It's usually much more civil. And I really feel like those decals made a difference for me. Great question.
Awesome. Here, I've got one from Kathy, not Catherine, that you had, Chuck, but Kathy. Is there a minimum sale percentage off to improve search ranking? For example, could 10% off boost search ranking, or is that considered too low to give a boost? So, I mean, when it comes to search ranking, I think the thing you do is if you're in a particular category, you want to do searches in those categories and see what other people are doing. If a lot of people are doing low discounts, then you're going to be good in that range. If it's a category that for some reason has deep discounts, then yeah, you kind of have to, to get engagement, you kind of have to, be in that rank or in that range. So I hope that helps. But yeah, that basically, it really just depends on from category to category. And actually, I'll even add one more thing to that. So like one thing that I always do kind of tell my sellers also is it's always good to, like, throughout the year as you're running, coupons, sales event, things like that, is try different things and see what it does, right? Like you run one for a week or two and see how that one performs. And the reason why I suggest that is because it's kind of good to know and have in your back pocket what works and what doesn't work, so that when it comes into kind of the prime time into Q4 and the holiday, you know what are the big kind of pushers, and those are the ones you can kind of lean on for that time, which I know we're not talking about Q4 and holiday, but hey, no reason to not start thinking about it a little bit already. So, all right, Evan.
Yeah, let me look. One more.
Of course.
I think we got a few here. Yeah, a lot of great engagement on these topics. Certainly great to have.
I can grab one, Evan, if you're looking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, of course. The question that stood out to me here was from Jennifer. How does having old inventory in your store drag it down? That's a good question, because I mean, I made a statement at the beginning that was like, "Hey, I'm not running a storage facility," but I'm really not. Like, I have limited space, so it's. I mean, if I had unlimited space and a really incredible inventory management system, I guess it wouldn't matter. I could just move things to the back of the warehouse and they could sit there forever. But in my situation, it does drag me down to have too much unsold inventory in the store. It just gets in the way. It causes more friction in my day-to-day workings. And I will go back to my statement about not running a storage facility. I figure things have a 12-month life cycle in my business. 12 months will get you through all 4 seasons. So anything you have that's seasonal should have its chance in the sun to make a sale. So I usually run 12 months. After that, I'll let the clock kind of run down on those items, and I try to get them out. With every rule, there's an exception. I do carry some things like industrial equipment and parts that I think are so unique to such a small number of users or businesses that I just want to keep them on hand for when they're needed. And those are the things that I may sit on for 2 or 3 years, just because when they do sell, they'll buy me out of a particular part, and it may be a multi-$100 sale. So you kind of just have to use your best judgment. It's a balancing act, right? Space and inconvenience versus long-term revenue. Great question.
Cool. Evan, do you got one or?
Sure, I can go. I think somebody asked here, is there a way to tell if a watcher is an actual buyer or just another seller trying to find out how things sell? Great question. We hear this a lot where, you get interested buyers, but they turn out to be a seller. You probably experience it yourself as a seller. I did want to share that we are continually improving our algorithms that show buyer interest. We'll be continuing to iterate on those over the coming months. And with those algorithm changes, we should see the actual interested buyers come to the top. That should get out most of the sellers who are just sort of doing price research and that kind of thing. Probably not going to be 100%, but in general, you should see less and less of those competitive sellers out there getting offers.
Awesome. And I'll take one. So actually, maybe 2 real quick, just because I got one that's a really quick answer. So Molly asked, how do I send a newsletter with my store subscription? So I'm more thinking maybe you're wondering where it is. So on the selling page at the top, you've got the links. You'll have one for store. And if you click on that, one of the options will be store newsletter. So that'll give you the option to send a store newsletter. So I hope that helps there. And then the other one I wanted to address was, let me find it here real quick. Gladys says, for sellers using volume pricing, order discount, coupons, and newsletters, which one has produced the greatest increase in average order value and repeat purchase based on eBay's data? So great question. The reason so one thing I'll say is I'm gonna answer kind of partially how I ended the last one of the last questions I addressed, which is try different things, see what works for you and what doesn't, because I do think it's dependent on categories. And then I'm gonna throw in an additional example. I've actually been at eBay for 21 years at the end of this month, right? So quite a bit of experience here, but basically the tip I have for that or understanding like eBay data, because the thing is I used to help people sell vehicles, and the thing is the data showed that a 7-day listing on a vehicle was optimal. And one day I was talking to a seller and he told me how he would never list less than 10 days because he'd done it, he tried it, and he saw the results that he got. So it didn't matter what the data was on eBay. If you have an experience, if you test something and you see what works for you, that's what you really should be going with. Again, our data will give you some guidance and we give you tips in that way, but always put value in the experiences and the things that you test and you're able to implement. Hope that helps. So, and then Chuck, you want to take one more?
I've got one here. Laura asked the pretty simple question: how do you find repeat customers? And boy, that's the $1 million question on eBay. First of all, I use the marketing tools that are available from eBay, discounts and things, and ways to reach out to previous customers. So I'm reminding customers I'm there. I'm creating coupons and discounts that give people bulk discounts and that kind of thing. But one technique that I've had really good luck with is identifying, I think a lot of people call them whales, like your biggest customers, identifying them and engaging with them. And it comes pretty easy for me because in the categories I sell in, I'm pretty passionate and knowledgeable about those things. For example, CDs. I recently bought 2 huge estates of CDs, very good quality stuff, jazz, classical, old rock, classic rock, good stuff. And I listed those over the course of 3 days, over 1,000 CDs. And I had one buyer immediately make a purchase of 13 in one order, and then more were coming throughout the day as I added them. So clearly this person was seeing that I was listing, which listing frequently is another good way to build repeat customers. But I reached out to that buyer and I engaged with them, and I let them know I was interested in the same kinds of music, and I started a conversation with them. I offered them a discount for even more bulk buys, and now we have a good relationship, and now they're a regular buyer. They come back to my store and they buy a lot. So if you have the time to have those conversations, they can pay off.
Awesome. I think that's all the time we have for questions today. So thank you all for those great questions. Before we wrap up, we have one more announcement. Up and Running grants are back for 2026 with a new focus on supporting sellers on eBay Live. We will select 10 sellers to receive a $10,000 grant to help grow their business on eBay Live. Funds can be used for inventory, equipment, marketing, or on-screen talent. I wish I was getting $10,000 today for my on-screen talent, but I'm not. Recipients will also receive one-on-one onboarding support from the eBay Live team, plus a pro seller kit to help them get started. This year's application includes a short video component where you can share why your business would benefit from the grant. If you're interested in selling on eBay Live or already sell on Live and want to scale, we encourage you to apply. The deadline is next Thursday, June 25th. As we wrap up, I want to quickly highlight what's coming next and how you can stay connected. On the screen, you'll see a QR code. If you scan that, you can register for our upcoming eBay for Seller events and make sure you're on the list for future sessions. Our next webinar will be on July 16th, focused on eBay community, how to plug into other sellers, share best practices, and get even more support. After that, on August 20th, we'll be talking holiday prep, so you can start planning early and hit Q4 with a clear strategy. Go ahead and scan the QR code now if you'd like to save your spot. One final note, after the webinar, please take a moment to complete the survey. We will randomly select 50 respondents to receive a $25 eBay gift card. Thanks again for being here today. We appreciate your time and we wish you a successful selling season.